Welcome back to AKC Style, the place for figure skaters who want to learn how to skate their hearts out, compete at their highest potential, and spend as much time practicing their inner work as they spend physically training on the ice. Let's get started. Hi skaters, welcome back. Today we are into episode 2. I just totally forgot what I was going to say. Episode 2 of reframing your mindset and resetting how you feel about your skating, how you're feeling about your training and your practices, your ability as a skater, and I'm hoping that these episodes will help you get unstuck from where you are now and set bigger goals, achieve your goals, and all those things that I love to talk about, you guys know. So today's topic is about routine and repetition, and I like these two topics for resetting your mindset or reframing your mindset, same thing, because that's what really, these two things are things that helped me when I was feeling like I was really stuck. And they're two topics that I go back to regularly. So at the end of the episode, I'm going to share with you something that I do when I feel like I'm really in my head or I'm overthinking things or I'm really down on myself. And it helps me kind of just like shake it all away and literally reset where I'm at. So I'll share that with you at the end. And I'll put some instructions in the description box for you to look through too. So, one of the reasons why I feel like routine and repetition are super important for reframing is because it's about creating good habits. It's really hard to have a positive mindset, a growth mindset, an overall mindset that's going to help you achieve your goals without creating good habits for yourself. And, you can Google reframing your mindset and get like tons of results, and they'll give you like 7 tips or 2 tips or 5 tips or whatever. But if they're not tips that match with your lifestyle, then it's not going to matter. You're going to try them and it's going to fall by the wayside, right? So you have to start creating routines that are going to work for you in order to get unstuck. And then you have to repeat those routines. So you may have to try multiple different ones in order to figure out what works best for you. So like for me, I have a habit of being a night owl, and I started to just get really exhausted during the day and be draggy. By the time it was time for me to go to the rink, I felt like I needed a nap, but then I have to drive 40 minutes to the rink, so that wasn't going to work out. And I had to find a different way to approach my sleeping habits. So I wanted to wake up earlier. I wanted to be able to train myself to wake up without an alarm clock again, like I did when I was in high school and in college when I had those early morning classes. But I kept repeating the same bad habit. I kept staying up until like 1 a.m. And I would just be sitting up. I'd be on social media. Sometimes I'd just be watching TV, or I'd watch a movie and start it at like 10:30 or 11 o'clock. Then by the time it was off, it would be midnight, and I'm like awake now because I just watched a whole movie and I'm not ready to go to sleep. Or I would just start working. At the time I was writing a blog, so I would just like be blogging really late because I was working retail, and we would close the store at 9, so I wouldn't get home until like 10 or 10:30 sometimes, and then I would just be wired. So sometimes I'd want to eat, and then I would just start writing. And the next thing you know, it would be like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I have to get up at like 6 or 7 o'clock. Like, you can't sustain that type of schedule. And it really showed in my mood. I was always in a bad mood. It was like not good, unless I had tons of caffeine. But then I'd be jittery and all that. If you're a caffeine addict, you know exactly what that feels like. But I basically was training my brain to stay stuck. So I was thinking like really kind of negatively about my life because I wasn't happy. And part of why I wasn't happy was because I was so tired all the time. So I couldn't really enjoy anything fully. I was so tired. I was in this weird state of sleep and wake for most of my morning. And then anybody who was in a good mood would make me like feel like I'm in an even worse mood. Like it just wasn't good. So I was just in this place where I was stuck. I called it like my struggle bus era. So if you knew me back during this time that I'll tell you about, I would literally just say I was on the struggle bus. Like I'm still on the struggle bus. It's a struggle. Like everything was a struggle. It was hard. And so physically and mentally, I was already drained before I even woke up in the morning. So I changed my sleep routine. So that's one thing that you can try, but I'll just tell you what I did. So I started to wake up earlier. Like I said, I wanted to train my body to wake up at 6:30 or 7. And now this happens to me still today because I made this such a strict routine and I repeated it constantly, like for years. And, I'm not saying it's going to take you years to train yourself to wake up at 6:30 in the morning, but this is just what happened to me. And now it's just something that's consistent. So I have a pretty thorough sleep routine. And it starts with like me setting alarms for myself that go on every night at a certain time that I know I have to start winding down. And whether that means that I have to like eat earlier in the evening, or like if I'm out, I know I'm going to start to get sleepy. So I need to kind of like wrap it up and like get home. I have a whole skincare routine. I make sure that like my room is ready for me to go to bed so that I don't have a bright light on that's going to keep me alert for longer. So it's like little things I started to do that became a good habit for me, and I just repeated it every single night, and now it is my sleep routine. So doing something small like that really helped me a lot. And then throughout the day, when I would wake up in the morning, throughout the day, I was alert and I was active and ready to go like as soon as I woke up in the morning. And I no longer stayed up until 1 o'clock in the morning because I didn't have to. I was ready to go to bed and my body was tired. And I was moving and doing so many things throughout the day that in the evening, after dinner, I was pooped and I was ready to go to bed earlier. So something small like that helped. But, the other thing too that really helped change this perspective for me was really understanding that I was saying that I was on the struggle bus and that I'm struggling. And so then nothing was changing. I was just content with everything staying the same. So nothing ever changed. And, I kind of touched on this a little bit in the first episode where I was telling you about my flip jump journey. But if you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're training your muscles to stay the same. So creating a routine for yourself, whatever that routine may be, it doesn't have to be about a sleep routine, but whatever the routine is, it's like you're building up a muscle. You have to train your body, you have to train your mind, and that takes repetition. So you just have to keep at it. Don't do it one time and then think like, oh, it didn't work for me, I'm never going to do it again. Like give yourself enough time to try something before you know it's not going to work. So like learning this changed everything about myself. I graduated from college and I got what at the time was my dream job. And it seems kind of silly to say that now, but really at the time that really was my dream job. I worked at Nordstrom and I became a manager in the salon women's designer shoe department. And I was just around like these beautiful, expensive shoes. I was around really cool people. I met all sorts of customers who had all sorts of different jobs and different lifestyles than me. And I was learning so much about business, about customer service, about so many things that I had just always thought like this is how my career is going to start. And then I'm going to work my way down the pyramid. If you worked at Nordstrom, you know what that means. So that I can, one day maybe move to Seattle and like my whole life will be different. So that was like the dream. So because that dream was so big, I decided to let the few private skaters that I had at the time that I was working with as a figure skating coach, I decided to let them know I couldn't coach them anymore. And I stopped teaching class and went for my dream job. Because I was like, now I have a real job. So like coaching skating isn't a real job. So I can just like let go of that, right? Which seems so stupid now, but I really thought that. So, I stopped skating completely for a couple years. I wasn't even skating for myself. And then this job suddenly changed within maybe like 3 years of having it. And I had worked in different departments, but it was no longer my dream job. My ambitions were totally different. And I realized I was feeling like I hated my job. And part of it was because my job was all consuming. I wasn't doing this thing that made me, gave me joy and made me feel strong and powerful and healthy. And I had gained quite a bit of weight. because I wasn't skating. I wasn't even like on the ice at all for myself. I just wasn't at the rink ever. So I had a coach at the time who was a director at a rink near my house, and she suggested I just come once a week to teach a Learn to Skate class. And then there was a club ice or an ice time session after Learn to Skate on that day that I was teaching, so I could just skate. So I would skate for free because I was teaching the Learn to Skate class, and I was looking forward to that every week. And then suddenly, since I had this dream in my head that like I would love to just coach again, and I would hope that I could pick up some private skaters and maybe teach another class a week, so then I'd be up to 2, and I could skate more often. And all of a sudden, this magical thing happened with my schedule. I started creating space for skating in my schedule, and things just started to line up. So before, it was such a struggle to be like, I'm going to work like 40, 50 hours a week, sometimes a little bit more than that. And there's no way I can fit skating, so I have to quit it. But once I realized like that's actually the goal, the thing that I need for myself, I need to get back into the thing that made me happy. It changed everything, and my schedule did start to line up. Everything was about getting to the rink on Monday night so I could teach and then skate. So that became my routine for the week. I wanted to get up. I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to feel good again. I wanted to be happy, and I knew I could find that at the rink. So I started stretching in the morning, just like a quick little stretch. I would go to the gym after work a couple days a week. I was eating better. I had more energy. I was going to bed at a reasonable hour. I wasn't going out drinking with my friends every weekend. I wasn't staying up super late with them during the week. And everything I did from Tuesday to Sunday was about Monday. That might sound a little crazy, but if you're a skater, you know, like especially as an adult, you have to kind of gear yourself up to get to the rink. So you may not need 6 days a week like I did, but you do have to start thinking differently about your schedule, and then that does help you actually go to the rink, because it's way too easy. Anybody who can drive can tell you, you can drive yourself, that if you're a little too tired after work, you're going to be like, I'm not going to the rink. I don't feel like it. I'll go next week. It's too easy. When you need a ride, you have to plan it a little bit better, which is why I think when we're kids, it's easy to maintain that strict skating schedule, because you have a parent or somebody who's going to drive you, and you have to stick to it. But when it's just you as an adult, it's easier to be like, it's raining, I don't feel like it. It's snowing, I don't feel like it. It's cold, I had a long day, I have so much work. Like, I can't fit it in today. I'll do it next week, I'll do it whenever. And then slowly but surely, you just aren't going anymore. So like this totally changed how I feel, and like my perception of what a reset looks like and why it's important, which is why I'm sharing it with you, because I went through this already. But also, I think it's just helpful to know that something so small as like changing a little routine, or having one day in your week that you can dedicate to skating, can really just change your mindset about a lot of different things in your life. So I hope that you can kind of get to that place in your life too, if you're feeling a little bit stuck with skating. But there's one other thing before I let you go today that helped me when I was on that struggle bus, kind of unfortunate journey, I guess. And I'm going to put it in the description box so that you can go ahead and try it. And if you do try it, feel free to share it with me either in the comments, or you can find me on Instagram and DM me and let me know how it went for you. Otherwise, you can definitely just do this for yourself. Anything that I put in the description box or talk about here is just between us, and you don't have to share anything with me or everybody else in the comments if you don't want to. But it's just little things that I think will help you along your reframe journey. So thanks so much for listening today. Don't forget to check the description box, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks so much for listening today. If you found this episode helpful, let me know in the comments, and be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. This helps other figure skaters discover my channel, and also helps me decide what topics I should share with you next. Have fun out there, and I'll see you at the rink.